All right, let's dive deep today on manipulation tactics.
Okay.
We're taking a look at a YouTube video
Okay.
by Armored Wisdom
Okay.
called Heavy Manipulation Tactics You Need to Know.
Mm-hmm.
And, this deep dive isn't about
Right.
becoming some kind of puppet master, right?
Yeah.
It's more about knowing the playbook.
Yes.
So you're not the one
Right.
getting played.
Absolutely.
What I found interesting about this video
Yeah.
is, it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone's out to get you.
Yeah.
The creator emphasizes using this knowledge for self-defense and for responsible use.
Exactly.
Which I think is
Right.
super important.
Yeah, it's not about you becoming the manipulator. It's about you recognizing when it's happening to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
To protect yourself.
Yeah. And it's like,
Exactly.
if you know the warning signs of a riptide,
Right.
you can avoid it. You don't want to get caught in one.
Exactly.
So let's,
Okay.
speaking of treacherous, let's dive into these 14 tactics.
Okay.
First up,
Yes.
triangulation.
Triangulation.
We all know the classic example, right?
Yeah.
The boss pitting employees against each other.
Yeah.
Why does this work so well?
Because again, it plays on our social needs.
Right.
We crave connection. We crave validation.
Yeah.
And so when someone introduces a third party,
Right.
it immediately creates that sense of insecurity or doubt
Yeah.
in our relationships.
Makes you question things.
Exactly.
Like, am I on the wrong side here?
And who do you turn to seek that validation?
Right.
Usually the manipulator.
The manipulator.
Yeah.
So they're creating the chaos.
Exactly.
And then being like.
And then they position themselves as the person who can restore order.
Oh, that's
and
them.
Oftentimes they benefit from the drama.
Yeah.
Whether one employee is working harder than the other to prove themselves.
To try and get that validation from the boss.
Or it's turning friends against each other so they can play confidante to both sides.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, next up.
Yeah.
Double bind.
Double bind.
Which just
the name
sounds exhausting.
The name itself is exhausting.
That's like.
So imagine you're in a situation where any decision that you make is wrong.
Right.
It's that.
So it's like you're trapped in a cage.
Video gives the example of a parent who constantly criticizes their child.
Okay.
Speak up.
Okay.
Don't be so disrespectful.
Oh, yeah. No matter what you do.
Yeah.
Damned if you don't.
And how do you even break free from that?
Well, first step is
awareness.
Okay.
Once you're aware of what's happening,
right,
you can start to see the situation a little bit more objectively.
Okay.
Setting boundaries is key.
Right.
And sometimes, you need some outside help.
Yeah.
Whether it's a therapist, a mentor, a friend, someone you trust that isn't in that dynamic to help you get back on your feet.
Get back on solid ground.
Exactly.
Get you out of that riptide.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to projection.
Projection.
Now, I have a feeling we've all have encountered this at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
jealous partner.
That jealous partner.
Who's accusing you of flirting.
Accusing you of flirting when really they're the one that wants to flirt.
Yeah. They're projecting their own.
Yes. Instead of owning their own insecurities or flaws, they put them on you.
Right.
It's a way of deflecting blame and making you question your behavior.
So how do you call someone out on this?
It's not always about confrontation.
Oh.
Sometimes the best defense is just not taking the bait.
Oh, okay.
Don't internalize their projections. Stay grounded in your own reality.
Okay.
And if they continue to do it calmly and assertively point out the pattern, you could say something like, I'm noticing you're accusing me of things that sound a lot like your own fears.
Okay. Like not getting into an argument about it, but just pointing it out.
Right, not making it about them, but making it about the pattern.
The pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, time pressure.
Time pressure.
This one the name itself gives me anxiety.
It preys on our FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, like those limited time offers.
Limited time offers.
Yeah.
Pressure you to buy now. Yeah. You don't even need it.
You even had a chance to think about it.
Exactly. They want you to act impulsively, not logically.
Yeah, so what's the best way to deal with that?
Remember that most decisions don't need an immediate answer.
Right.
It's okay to say, let me think about it. Get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take control of the timeline.
Exactly.
Don't let them control it.
Yeah. Okay.
This next one
Yes.
Inconsistency.
I've done unpredictability.
This one is a fun one.
Unpredictability. Yeah. Now, this one sounds more
so think of the friend that's hot and cold.
Right.
You never know what to expect.
Yeah.
Their mood is constantly shifting.
It's exhausting.
They never give you an explanation for it.
So what's their goal here?
They're trying to create chaos and dependency.
So you crave their approval.
You're constantly walking on eggshells.
You're trying to please them.
Right.
Never knowing what to expect.
And how do you deal with this?
You detach.
Okay. You don't
get sucked in.
Get sucked into their emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You focus on your own emotional stability. You don't let their unpredictable nature dictate your well-being.
Okay.
You know.
How you keep yourself safe.
You got it, yeah.
Okay, next up. Emotional blackmail.
Oh, emotional blackmail.
Now this one's
a fun one.
Feels like a major violation.
This one weaponizes your emotions.
Okay.
They're going to use guilt, fear, obligation. It's that classic, if you really loved me, you would type scenario.
It makes you feel like a bad person if you don't comply.
They're holding your love or your care hostage.
Right.
They're basically saying, if you don't do this, then you don't really care about me.
So
how do you deal with this?
Set boundaries.
Okay.
Remember, you have the right to say no.
Right.
And you shouldn't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Their emotional well-being is not your responsibility.
And you shouldn't be forced to.
And you shouldn't be forced to compromise your values or your needs to appease them.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good advice.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
Okay. Gaslighting.
Oh, gaslighting.
Now, I think a lot of people have heard this term.
Yeah.
But may not actually understand what it is.
It's a tactic designed to make you doubt your own sanity.
Okay.
So it's like, think of someone denying that something happened when you clearly remember it.
Right.
Or telling you that you're overreacting when you're having a very valid emotional response.
Right. So they're trying to
chip away at your reality.
Like rewrite history, make you question your own memory.
So what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Documentation is really crucial when you're dealing with the gaslighter.
So keep track.
Keep a record of events, dates, conversations, anything.
So you have proof.
That can help you validate your own experience.
Okay, so it's like
almost an evidence trail.
Yes, it's an evidence trail.
Okay.
You know, so when they say, oh, that didn't happen,
yeah,
you can say, well, actually, this is what happens.
Right.
Because I wrote it down. And also make sure that you have people you trust.
Right.
To talk to.
Support system.
Friends, family.
Yeah.
A therapist.
Okay.
They can give you that outside perspective.
Right, because if you're isolated.
When you're isolated, it's easy for them to twist things.
Right.
It's easy for them to make you think you're crazy.
Right.
But when you have other people that are validating your experience.
It's a lot harder for them to do that.
Like they can help bring you back to reality.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, false social approval.
False social approval.
This one feels like it really plays on our...
This one leverages social pressure to influence you.
Right.
You know,
it's that whole like...
You see an ad that says, this is the #1 bestseller.
Yeah, but there's no...
There's no proof.
Yeah.
You know, or a friend is like, oh, you have to come to this party.
Right.
Everybody's going to be there.
And then you get there and...
you get there and there's like 5 people.
3 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They try to make you feel like...
You're missing out.
Try to make you feel like you're the odd one out.
Right.
If you
don't
go along with it.
Yeah.
So
what's the best way?
Critical thinking is your best defense.
Okay.
Question everything.
You know, look for independent sources of information.
Right.
Do your own research.
Right.
And most importantly, trust your gut.
Okay.
You know,
so if it feels...
Something feels off.
Yeah, it probably is.
It probably is.
Okay. Concealment of information.
Oh, concealment of information.
This one feels pretty straightforward.
It's straightforward, but it's about controlling the narrative by selectively withholding crucial information.
Right.
Think about a partner hiding financial details.
Okay.
Or a salesperson downplaying a product's defects.
Yeah, so they're trying to...
They're manipulating you.
Right.
By preventing you from seeing the full picture.
Yeah, so what do you do in that situation?
Ask questions.
Okay.
Dig deeper.
Right.
Don't be afraid to challenge the information you're given.
Yeah.
And make sure you seek out diverse perspectives.
Okay.
To make sure you're getting...
So you're getting the whole picture.
A well-rounded view.
Okay. Good advice.
It's about...
being informed.
Fear attachment.
Fear attachment.
This one feels very primal.
This one's a fun one.
It's like... they're
trying to trigger your fight or flight response.
It's like a scary movie.
Exactly.
It makes you jump...
It tries to make it harder for you to think rationally.
Yeah.
Think of a partner who's threatening to leave if you don't comply.
Right.
Or a boss.
Right.
Threatening to fire you.
Yeah.
If you don't work late.
Yeah.
And so how do we avoid...
Well, first, recognize that fear is being used as a weapon.
Right.
And then you can start to detach from the emotion a little bit.
Okay.
And analyze the situation more objectively.
Right.
Ask yourself, is this a credible threat?
Right.
What are my options? What are the potential consequences of giving in versus standing up for myself?
Okay, so it's about taking your power back.
Exactly. It's about standing up to the bully.
Yeah.
Which oftentimes can diffuse their power.
Okay, good advice. Okay, blame game.
The blame game.
Classic.
This one feels familiar.
It's designed to shift responsibility and make you question your own confidence.
That coworker who's always blaming others when a project goes wrong.
Or the friend that makes you responsible for their bad mood.
Yeah.
It's
like they're never taking responsibility.
Never taking responsibility.
For anything.
It's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
So how do you counter it?
Yeah.
Strong sense of self.
Okay.
Know your strengths. Recognize your accomplishments.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself.
Right.
When you're being unfairly blamed.
It's like, wait a minute. This isn't my fault. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to own your successes.
Okay.
Don't let them rewrite history.
Okay, false praise.
False praise.
How can praise be manipulative?
Insincere compliments.
Okay.
When used strategically. Can be a way to lower your guard.
Right.
To make you more susceptible to influence.
It's like the salesperson who's like,
Hi.
Yeah.
Wow, you look great in that. You have such great taste.
Right before they try to upsell you.
Yeah, so they're using it to their advantage.
Using praise as a currency to buy your compliance.
So how do you spot that?
Pay attention to the context and the intent. Does it feel genuine and specific or generic and calculated?
Yeah.
Trust your gut. If something feels off.
Yeah.
It probably is.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Okay. Victimization.
This one feels like it plays on R.
This one's about leveraging sympathy to gain control or special treatment. It's the person who's constantly portraying themselves as a victim.
Right, like the world
circumstance.
Out to get him.
Exactly. It's never their fault.
It's
always somebody else's fault.
Take responsibility.
They never take responsibility for their own actions.
So how do you deal with this?
It can be tough.
Yeah.
Because we're naturally wired to want to help people who are struggling.
Right.
So you have to maintain a healthy balance between empathy and skepticism.
Okay.
Consider their past behavior. Do their actions match their words?
Right.
Are they consistently playing the victim?
If there's a pattern there. Yeah.
Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to set boundaries and encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives.
Yeah. So you're being compassionate.
Exactly.
But also you're not enabling them.
Protecting yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. And finally.
Yes.
Intentional silence.
The silent treatment.
The silent treatment, which can be so...
May seem passive-aggressive.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly powerful.
It's like using silence as a weapon.
They are using silence as a weapon.
Yeah. To punish you.
To punish you.
To make you...
To control you.
Feel bad.
To invalidate your feelings.
Right.
To make you question your own worth.
Right. It makes you feel so...
so
anxious and uncertain.
Because it leaves you wondering what you did wrong.
Yeah. You're like, what did I do?
How to fix it.
How do I fix this? Yeah, so how do you deal with this?
Recognize
that the silence is about their need for control.
Right.
Not your worthiness.
Okay.
Don't play their game.
Oh, okay.
Focus on maintaining your own emotional well-being.
Okay.
And if they continue to give you the silent treatment,
right,
maybe this isn't a relationship you want to invest in.
Yeah. So it's like you can't control.
You can't control their behavior, but you can control
how you react,
how you respond to it.
Right.
You always have a choice.
Okay, good advice.
You know.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. And it's amazing to me how many ways manipulation can manifest in our lives.
Is half the battle.
Right. So if you know it,
you know.
You can spot it.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Don't check out yet, listeners. We're just getting started.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to be unpacking how to avoid becoming the manipulator.
Big one.
Ourselves.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Okay.
Welcome back, listeners. So we just spent some time exploring those 14 manipulation tactics.
Yeah.
And how to spot them. But now, for the ultimate plot twist, what if we are the manipulator?
You're the bad guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we ensure?
It's like looking in the mirror after a horror movie and wondering if you've become the villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So how do we make sure we're not pulling the strings?
Self-awareness is key.
Okay.
You know, think back to those tactics. Have you ever caught yourself using them?
Right.
Even subtly?
Yeah, I think we've all.
Maybe not maliciously, but to nudge someone towards your way of thinking.
Like convincing your friend to see the movie you want to see.
Right.
Instead of the one they want to see.
Or persuading your boss to give you that project.
Right, yeah.
That you've had your eye on.
It's human nature to want to influence people.
It is.
Right.
It is.
So where's the line?
I think the line between persuasion and manipulation is intention.
Okay.
Are we trying to win at all costs?
Right.
Or are we trying to create a win-win?
So it's the difference between...
It's a difference between being assertive and being manipulative.
So how do we stay on the right side of that line?
Honesty. You've got to ask yourself.
Yeah.
What's my real goal here? Am I trying to control this person?
Right.
Or am I trying to come to a solution that we both feel good about?
So check your motives before you even open your mouth.
Exactly. And empathy is huge.
Right.
Put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, how would you feel?
Like that golden rule, right?
Exactly.
Treat others how you want to be treated.
Yes.
If I don't want to be guilt-tripped into doing something,
I
shouldn't be doing that.
You shouldn't do it to somebody else.
Someone else, yeah. Okay, so we're aware of the tactics.
Right.
We're checking our motives. We're trying to be empathetic.
Yes.
What else can we do?
Transparency.
Okay.
Be upfront about your intentions.
Okay.
You know, no hidden agendas.
Right.
No trying to mislead anyone.
So it's like honesty.
Honesty.
But even more than that.
It's about being honest with yourself and the other person.
Yeah, about your goals.
About what you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And respect the other person's autonomy.
Right.
They have a right to make their own choices.
Okay.
Even if we don't like them.
So even if I really want my friend to try that new restaurant?
You can't guilt trip them into going.
I can't be like, come on, if you were a real friend, you'd go.
You can tell them why you love it.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's their decision.
Okay.
Whether they go or not.
Okay. What about accountability?
Oh, accountability is huge.
Yeah.
You've got to own your actions.
Okay.
And the impact that they have.
Okay.
No blaming others.
Right.
No making excuses.
So if you mess up.
If we mess up, we own up to it.
This is starting to sound like a whole code of conduct for ethical communication.
It is a code of conduct.
Transparency, honesty, respect for autonomy, accountability.
That's it.
That's a pretty good framework.
And by choosing to operate from those principles, we can avoid falling into those manipulative traps, and we can build relationships based on genuine trust and respect.
So it's not just about avoiding being manipulated.
It's also about avoiding becoming the manipulator.
Becoming the manipulator.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we take these principles?
Mindfulness.
Okay.
You've got to pay attention to your communication style.
Right.
Catch yourself when you're tempted to use those tactics.
Okay.
And ask yourself, is there a more ethical way to achieve my goal?
So instead of resorting to guilt trips or emotional blackmail,
try expressing your needs directly and respectfully.
Okay.
So instead of saying, if you really cared about me, you would do this.
Right.
Try saying, this would mean a lot to me.
Okay.
Would you be willing to do it?
Yeah.
You know?
So you're giving them an option.
You're giving them an option. You're not making them
just say no.
Feel bad if they say no.
Right?
It's okay.
It feels less manipulative.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
What about when we're on the receiving end?
Boundaries. You've got to communicate your boundaries.
Yeah.
clearly and assertively.
So if someone is trying to guilt trip me,
you can say,
yeah,
I understand this is important to you,
okay,
but I'm not comfortable doing that. Please respect my decision.
Okay.
You know?
And if they keep pushing,
that's when you might have to disengage from the conversation or even the relationship.
It's like choosing your battles.
Sometimes the best way to protect yourself is to walk away.
Right. Not every relationship is
worth the emotional toll.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this has been really insightful.
It has. It's made me realize that manipulation is so subtle.
It can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So being aware of it is so important.
It is.
What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think it's important to remember that we all have the potential to manipulate and be manipulated.
Yeah.
The key is being aware of the tactics.
Okay.
Understanding our own motivations.
Right.
And making a conscious effort to communicate with integrity and respect.
Okay, so if something feels off.
If something feels off, trust your gut.
Trust your gut. You have the right to say no.
You have the right to say
You have the right to set boundaries.
You have the right to walk away.
Yeah, good advice.
You know?
All right, before we wrap things up.
Okay.
Let's look at some real-life examples of these tactics in action.
Yes. Let's get
when we come back,
practical.
We'll break down some of those tricky scenarios we all encounter.
All right.
Give you the tools to handle them like a pro.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Okay, we're back.
All right.
Ready to put all this knowledge to work.
Let's tackle those
real world situations. Where these tactics can really sneak up on you.
You know those times where you walk away from a conversation feeling confused or drained, but you can't quite put your finger on why. Let's say you're dealing with a friend who's a master, the victim tactic.
Right. Always has a sob story.
Has a sob story. Right. And you always end up feeling obligated.
Oh, yeah. Even when you're already stretched thin.
Even when it's really inconvenient for you.
Yeah, I know that type.
The damsel in distress.
Yeah, never taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility for their own
actions.
So
how do you...
It's tricky because you want to be a good friend.
Right.
But you also have to protect yourself.
Right, so how do you navigate that without hurting the friendship?
Set boundaries with compassion.
So what would that sound like?
So you can acknowledge their struggles without taking on the burden of fixing them.
Okay, so instead of offering solutions or taking on their problems.
What could you say?
You could say something like,
okay,
I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Okay.
But I'm not equipped to offer the support you need right now.
Okay.
Have you considered talking to a therapist?
Okay. Or joining a support group.
Okay, so you're showing that you care.
You're showing you care.
But you're also setting a boundary.
You're setting a boundary, and you're shifting the responsibility
back to them.
Back to them where it belongs.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Let's shift gears to the workplace.
The workplace.
Okay, you're dealing with a colleague.
All right.
Who loves to play the blame game.
Oh, the classic office manipulator.
Every time something goes wrong.
Every time.
It's never their fault.
It's never their fault.
Always pointing fingers.
Quick to point the finger.
Yeah, trying to deflect responsibility.
Deflecting responsibility.
And undermine you.
Undermining their colleagues.
So how do you handle that?
Documentation is your best friend.
So keep a record of your work.
Keep a record of everything.
Emails. Conversations.
Anything that shows your contributions.
So if they try and throw you under the bus.
You have proof.
Evidence to back you up.
Evidence. Okay, and then when you confront them.
Stick to the facts.
Go.
Don't get sucked into their emotional drama.
Right.
Calmly state your perspective.
Okay.
And present the evidence.
Okay, so be assertive.
Be assertive.
But not defensive.
Okay. And if it continues, involve a manager or HR.
Yeah, because bullying and manipulation.
Shouldn't
be tolerated.
Should never be tolerated.
Okay.
In the workplace.
That's a good point. Okay, relationships. You're dating someone who loves to use time pressure.
Oh, time pressure.
They're always pushing for commitment.
Yeah. Big decisions.
Before you're ready.
Yeah,
it's like a red flag.
It's a major red flag. They're trying to control the pace of the relationship.
They're trying to sweep you off your feet.
And They're preventing you.
Before you have a chance to think, fully considering your options.
Okay, so how do
you stand your ground and assert your need for space and time to make decisions at your own pace.
Okay. So what could you say?
You could say something like,
okay,
I really care about you.
Okay.
But I need more time to process this.
Mm-hmm.
Pressuring me isn't going to change my feelings.
Okay.
It's just going to make me feel uncomfortable.
Okay, so you're communicating your needs.
You're communicating.
But you're also setting a boundary.
You're setting a firm boundary. Right. And if they respect you, they'll back off and give you the space you need.
If they don't, what did that tell you?
If they don't, it tells you a lot about their priorities and whether this relationship is truly healthy.
Right. Good point.
You know?
It's a reminder that healthy relationships are built on trust and respect.
Not
pressure and manipulation.
Not pressure and manipulation. Yeah. And that applies to all relationships.
Friendships, family, romantic, work, everything.
Everything.
Wow, this has been so insightful.
It's amazing how being aware of these tactics can really empower you.
Yeah, make you feel less helpless.
To navigate these situations.
Less like a victim.
With confidence and protect yourself from those who might try to take advantage.
So what's the most important takeaway?
The key message is that we all have the potential
to be manipulators.
Manipulators and... Right, to be on either side of it.
The key is to be aware of the tactics.
Right.
Understand our own motivations.
Okay.
And make a conscious effort.
To communicate with integrity and respect.
If something feels off.
If something feels off, trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
You have the right to say no.
Set boundaries. Walk away.
Set boundaries.
From any relationship.
Walk away from any relationship.
That isn't serving you.
That's not serving you.
Yeah, take back your power.
It's about taking back your power.
Create relationships built on authenticity.
And create relationships.
And mutual respect.
That are built.
That's a great way to end this deep dive.
Authenticity and mutual respect.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Stay informed.
Joining this dive.
Stay empowered.
On this journey.
And keep diving deep. See you next time.
The fascinating world of manipulation tactics.